everyone, and welcome to the Dassault Systems 30-minute webinar, Considerations for Your Future Factory Strategies. My name's Ellen Mondro, and I'll be your host, and we want to get started right away because we have a lot to cover. Let me introduce Enrico Sarlock, Aerospace and Defense Industry Solution Experience Director for Dassault Systems. He leads the strategic direction for our manufacturing solutions. Previous to his current role, he worked with our Boeing customer as a manufacturing solution architect, and he's worked with many of our customers on process planning and manufacturing strategies. Welcome, Enrico.
Thank you very much, Ellen, and welcome everybody to part one of this webinar series. I would like to start with a little introduction of the core values we want to provide to our customers. To you. So what we will talk about a lot in those two webinars is the innovation we will help you to provide into your future strategy for your factory of the future to maintain and achieve the goals you have and you see here on that slide. So when we talk about the technologies and the digital capabilities around the journey to the factory of the future, then those core values are always in our mind to achieve them. So let's talk a little bit about the aerospace and defense business landscape. So there is an increasing competition and pressure on the industry, and it's not only on the commercial side, it's also on the defense and space side, and everybody is working with the same kind of constraints. If it's the production rate, where we see and know that the OEMs are double-digit years full of orders in the books and they want to produce and increase the rate. There is the workforce and the aging workforce, especially with all their knowledge, going to disappear. The complexities of new programs and the joy for us traveling in the sky and having a better passenger experience or traveling outer space, and also the budgets. And the budgets are usually flat to invest into new technologies, new production systems, and which has really an impact to your future. So when we look at the factory of the future and on the manufacturing side of it, there was a lot of talk about production rate over the past years, but it's really more like what we see. It's about the flexibility. It's about the flexibility on first production rate, because your rate is depending on the demand, it's depending on the mix of your programs, it's depending on how you want to produce in the future. You want to have still dedicated production lines, or you want to produce multiple aircraft on the same line. So this all plays into the flexibility which is needed in the future to set up and run your production environment. Secondly, it's quality. And quality is one of the largest impacts to your production, to your capacity, to your committed date to deliver at the end. And the quality is not only impacted by human beings working on the shop floor, but the entire system, the availability of parts and the help we can give to the workers on the shop floor to produce better quality the first time. Last but not least, globalization. Globalization is a large aspect starting from your supply chain, which is very, very important to meet your other goals, but also to look at your own production sites. It's not that it's only one. It is usually multiple production sites, and those production sites are spread across the continent or even around the world. And the synchronization of those production sites along your supply chain is very key to achieve your goals and the flexibility in that global system and network. So we said there's a race, a manufacturing race, and you can see that almost all the governments around the world are heavily investing into the manufacturing of the future. All do it a little bit different, but at the end it all comes to four major pieces they support and they want to research, develop, and get into a stage where it's really leverageable in your production environment. First is the digital continuity. It's really the underlying data stream along your value streams, from engineering, design, manufacturing, execution, support, and services. Secondly is the vertical integration and the network of your different sites, your different resources. It's not that you will get the most benefit of focusing on one site and you do something totally different on another site. It's really, how do I evolve a factory of the future network throughout your entire production site. Then the next step of connecting the smart factory. Let the resource learn from each other. Once we establish this continuity, the deployment of the future factory to all your different sites, then let them learn from each other. Let's see how we can drive the factory to continuously improve it. And last but not least, humans. And we believe that the humans will be still at the heart of the future factory. It starts from the design, from the research, also from the planning, from the simulation and the execution. And the human will be still in the middle of the factory, which most likely is much more automated than we see it today. But we need the human there to monitor, control it, and also execute it. So we as Dassault Systems are known very much as an CAD vendor tool provider. We have tools and applications, but we also look at the processes and the solution which is needed to do a virtual design, validation, optimization of your factory of the future, and then really execute it. What you see here in the center is also that we put the virtual representation, the virtual twin of your real factory environment, which is and should be the context when you do the design of your aircraft and systems and when you do your manufacturing planning and simulation. Because if you are able to define that in an environment which is very close to reality, then the output of this data before it goes to the execution to the shop floor will be much higher, and this drives more the efficiency on the shop floor. Also, you see that blue donut going around. This is illustrating that this digital continuity is not actually a one-way stream. And this is what we worked on for the past 10, 15 years, that you can stream engineering, model-based definition data from engineering design through manufacturing to execution. No, it's that we want to get this rich data from execution back into your virtual environment. You have tons of data there which can be used to continuously improve and optimize your design and build plan. To get this data, we have to be able to connect to the real world. And this connection can be to a machine, it can be to an RFID tag, to GPS data, scanners, or the HoloLens when someone is using it for executing work. But it is key and important that once you go into that direction to have this data available, that you start collecting that data and make it available almost in real time so that you can harvest that and drive your optimization, your intelligence, and then do that loop. Do that loop of optimization throughout your value streams. This is a kind of a summary slide of what I just said. You can pause here for a minute and read through. But again, when we talk in the next following parts about technologies and how they can be leveraged for the factory of the future, the digital thread and the 3D experience twin of your production environment is key and essential really to connect those dots, connect those technologies and really leverage that rich data in the future. So let me take you to Germany, because I'm based in Germany. I like to drive on the Autobahn, but sometimes we have construction sites there, and usually a construction site comes with a short on-ramp. Traffic is still flowing very fast, and you have a hard time to get on the Autobahn. Either you stop and pause and you wait for a long time, or actually that's one of the highest risks of accidents when someone is pushing in there. This is somehow similar to what we see on what is very often going on in research and development on new innovation technologies. They either sit too long in the R&D labs, and then they get too expensive, and someone says, oh no, we stop that. Or the potential is well known, and someone is rushing them into production. And then it's failing right there because it was not ready yet on a TRL level to be scaled on the real production side, on production rate. And this is something what I want to share now in the next section on what we are providing to help you to get your innovative technologies out of an R&D lab into rate production fast and safe. A couple of years ago, we set up a new strategy for the aerospace and defense industry. And first, we sat down and we defined solution experiences for the end-to-end business processes for aerospace and defense. We broke it down into the different phases in the different domains, and we defined the business processes on top of the 3DEXPERIENCE platform and top of the applications to not only have apps and technology, but also providing a business process behind it, which we recommend as a standard in the industry. Then as a next step, we thought about how can we help you and the industry to join each other's knowledge, join each other's idea streams, to drive innovations, to drive and accelerate the factory of the future. And this is where we started with 2 3DEXPERIENCE centers around the world. And I would like to highlight 2 today, one in North America, one in Germany, and explain to you what do we do there and how it could help to drive the innovation. And the last step is driving that as a global network. Driving it not only on the major spots at the moment, but also driving it throughout Asia, throughout the Americas, and connecting those networks of innovation centers together to get even more speed into driving innovation into the factory of the future. So what is this 3DEXPERIENCE network about? So there's and you see that from the beginning of that webinar, there's a digital transformation going on. And this digital transformation started a couple of years ago. Yeah? It's not something new when we think about model-based enterprise, 3D design, the model-based definition data, and how this can be leveraged. But there are more things which can be developed further and will drive the efficiency, which we will see, and the advantages for the factory of the future and the entire value stream. When you look at not only the factory of the future, but also the end-to-end process, based on an assessment we did, we see that there's a potential to cut out 50% from a concept of an aircraft and the system to takeoff. And we have demonstrated that with different projects and customers, getting from the idea to the first takeoff or to the first prototype and concept design in less than 90 days. And this is the first indicator on how far we can go leveraging those new technologies and innovations. So where can we bring this future into reality? I mentioned to you one site in North America, and this is the 3DEXPERIENCE Center at WSU NIR in Wichita. And the second one is the 3DEXPERIENCE Center in Hamburg in Germany. And I would like to show you a short video to introduce the concept behind in both sites.
We developed the 3DEXPERIENCE Center for various reasons. The sophistication, both in terms of processes, technology, mechanism, system of work is quickly accelerating. And our customers need a place where they can innovate, where they can experiment, where they can develop new ways of working and new ways of interacting with this technology and how that technology would fit into their space and their existing processes. This facility, although it's physical, is connected globally. Our 3DEXPERIENCE platform is cloud-based. The teams that may be working physically here can be virtually connected with their colleagues around the world and or other experts or partners that need to be brought in.
We now have the opportunity to drive innovation throughout the world, because our mission and our goal is to be able to create an innovation ecosystem where companies can come and take advantage of this type of capability wherever you are in the world, whether it's in Asia, Europe, whether it's in the United States. And so we have a whole roadmap and strategy to develop this innovation ecosystem. If you're a startup and you come to the 3DEXPERIENCE Center and leverage all the technologies, all of the processes, the system of work, the methods, rules, templates, and the expertise, and to be able to take a customer out of their comfort zone and bring them into this kind of environment, we can change their mindset to allow them to accomplish their dreams.
The factory of the future will be human-centric. And I believe in the future more and more people in the world will want to have very suitable solutions, experiences. It's not only more of the same object, but differentiation. So human-centric on all aspects. Quality of work, quality of the result, and quality on imagination for people in the way they become true makers of great things for the society.
What is common to both, and what is really the driving force behind those experience centers, and why do we want to get everybody together? So the graph shows you a traditional cycle of a research project on getting new technology in production, and you see the bump where during the industrialization phase of new technologies, which is very costly, and this is where the critical point is, where most of the projects get terminated. With all the experiences, of all the knowledge, of all the partners in an environment like an experience center, we project that we can drive this cost down. And by this, accelerating, getting new technologies to a TRL 6 where you can take it out of a lab and go and deploy it on your production site. So what are the objectives of the experience centers we established with our partners? The objective is really that you go and perform your own research, your own definition of your factory of the future. You can test, you can visualize a strategy and the processes, and you can use all the new innovative technologies which are available in those 3DEXPERIENCE centers. Yeah? Not only dream your vision of the factory of the future, but also go and test it. Figure it out. Get your hands dirty. See which technology works, which does not, and what are the processes underneath to integrate those new technologies into your production environment. Secondly, we decided to start those experience centers with the aerospace and defense industry. But we also know that there is a large collaboration and much more lessons learned to be done from other industries. Aerospace and defense is looking very often to the automotive industry because they are further ahead in their production technology. So as we start with aerospace and defense, we want to extend it to different industries to leverage their knowledge and experiences. And then leverage the ecosystem. Set up center of excellences around the world. Someone is focusing on VR technology, someone on 3D printing, and then start connecting. Really leverage all the brain and all the labs which are already there or to come. And this map here gives you an idea, our timeline and our guidance, where we want to, and currently building experience centers, innovation centers. For us, sometimes with customers, with states, to set up this network really globally. Innovation centers or 3D experience centers, besides the building, need to be set up with technologies, and this is something what we set up at NIRE and CEL, and we will go and set up in the others as well. We look at technologies which are out there, partners, startups, and get them all together to an amazing innovation hub. So, but all those technologies just make sense for the factory of the future if you start connecting them. Then connecting them with the factory of the future, or with the Industry 4.0, or however you call it in your domain, in your area. But this is really key, and this is really what we want to drive with the solution experiences, with the 3D Experience platform, to have this digital continuity, the connection between all those technologies. How can you imagine it? I have here the 3D layout, the NIRE Innovation Center or 3D Experience Center, where we have a large setup of immersive technologies. There's the largest cave, the robotics MRAM, the multi-robotics advanced manufacturing cell, which is the largest of its kind, a large center of 3D printing capabilities, and then for you and us to work together on projects in collaboration rooms where you can really test drive it. You can come with a project with some innovative ideas, go there and leverage all the technology which is there. And in part 2 of this webinar, I will provide you more details on those different capabilities and what you can expect. So in summary for part 1 of the webinar, transform your strategy and your vision of innovation into reality in these experience centers. This is really the key behind those centers we set up. Leverage the ecosystem during this transformation. It's not only you, it's not only us, it's not only partners, it is really the network of different companies, individuals who run those centers and can be connected or should be connected to be faster and smarter. Use it as a prototype and create a blueprint, get this environment to a level where you are really feeling confident that you can put it into production. Do it faster, do it cheaper, and then take it out of those centers and put it into your production. And use it to create your next generation of workforce. And we started in those centers to collaborate with universities, the same in Wichita as well as in Hamburg, to educate students, but you can also educate your next generation workforce. And you remember this was one of the chapters of what we think is key in the future, that the human is still there, and that you have to take the human on the journey into your factory of the future. And those are places where you can take them and educate them, or just let them go with you together on that way to the factory of the future. So this concludes webinar number 1. I'm more than happy to get in contact with you. If you have any questions, visit our website or contact you, send me an email, and I will get back to you. I will also get back to you with part 2 of this webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Enrico. That was a ton of information in a short amount of time. And with that, this concludes part 1 of considerations for your future factory strategies. We look forward to you joining us on part 2.